unless you have a few screws loosed or so deeply rooted and entrenched into the gang culture, then you should know a vindictive and outlandish gang deserve jail time when they embarrass and humiliate their victim by making him take off his clothes and then torch him with flame. Not only was the incident meant to humiliate the victim and exert the gang's dominance, it was also to show other gangsters and criminals and the police that the 5 madmen responsible were above the law and quote-unquote gangster. The gang, who were from Birmingham and 1 man from West Brom, included Zeshan Hussain, Mohammed Hamza miah, Saleh Ahmed, Nadir Mohammed and Roman Ahmed. Now they were detained by police and then placed in handcuffs. The victim had been ambushed while walking along Lozells Road in Birmingham, an area where you do not want to be caught off guard at all, on September 16th of last year, being 2023. Hamza miah and zeshan Hussain had walked over to the victim, hands empty to show that they meant no harm. The victim was called out to, and the 2 gangsters says that they wanted to talk to the victim. Now the victim is alleged to have scanned the area, looking both ways, looking for a quick escape, but the unnamed man, who was said to be in his 20s, was gripped by the back of their neck and kept rooted in place on the concrete. He was then told not to move or he would be stir, and then placed against the wall with such force that his head made contact with brick. Even though there were people around, no one intervened. They kept walking as if though they had blinkers on. The situation began to get worse by the second, when Hamza miah and zeshan Hussain then started to rifle through the victim's pockets, tapping him down and then turning the pockets inside out. Of course, phone taken, money taken. Saleh Ahmed, Nadir Mohammed and Roman Ahmed then entered into the territory and joined in on the violent robbery. The Birmingham gangsters were called callous and barbaric, and in the incident the victim had a glass bottle used on him connecting to the head, and he was once again told that he was going to be stir and then ammo fired at him if he ever tried to run away, and the gang constantly goaded their victim saying that they were going to K him. Now, in these type of situations, what are you supposed to do? The victim couldn't exactly run, he couldn't exactly scrap his way out of it as he was outnumbered 1 to 5, and also they had promised to K him if he ran. In his part, he was caught up in a stalemate. Now the victim's colour drained from his face and cold sweat started. At least 3 members of the gang then, with an open palm, then made contact with the victim's face. He was then told to take his clothes off. Now, if a man tells another man to take the clothes off, to remove the clothes, then either they are, or the men responsible, want to degrade the victim and humiliate him in the worst way possible. The victim obliged, obviously, scared for his life, frightened, appalled, thinking to himself, what on earth is happening and why me? Once the victim had taken off his clothes, Saleh, Nadir, Roman, Hamza and zeshan took turns using a lighter, flame on body parts. The victim was said to have screamed out in pain and begged them to stop. Still they continued, hair singed and skin scorched. So the victim had no other choice but to scream out again and again and again and again, while the gang continued, taunting their victim and laughing sadistically in their face. Now once the victim's legs gave out, he crumbled to the ground. The gang then put the boot in, leaving footprints on him. Now the victim was on the ground motionless, and that's only when the incident stopped. And then the gang made their exit. Now because the gang thought that they were above the law and they wanted to document their quote-unquote badman activity, they actually recorded the incident on their mobile phones and then uploaded it onto social media like Snapchat for the entire world to see. As you can imagine, the video did not take long to reach the attention of West Midlands Police. Now police searched the faces of the individuals in the video and soon were able to put names to the faces captured. Each person was arrested, to their shock and dismay. Hamza, Zeshan, Saleh, Nadir and Roman denied being the people in the video or being involved in the incident when they were taken to the police station for questioning. The men then refused to answer any further question, so they kept to the no comment statement. Now when they were forced to stand in front of a judge, the gang had bowed their head and remained silent when the judge commented on their deplorable actions, saying that this was a deplorable and savage act, with the gang prepared to use violence and then try to humiliate their victim for no reason. Now this backfired on them the moment they took out their mobile phones, pointed the camera at their victim while he was unclothed and screaming in pain, while he was at his worst, and then to upload the footage onto social media, where they hoped that users would comment on the video and also applaud them for their actions. Again, the judge says that this backfired on them and they have now lost their freedom for a number of years. Zeshan Hussain, who's 23 years old, from Railway Lane in Oldbury, he was jailed for 5 years for robbery. On October 25th, 4 other people were also jailed in August for their roles in the incident. Mohammed Hamza miah, who's 23 years old, of Frank Fisher Way in West Brom, he was jailed for 6 years and 6 months for the robbery. 23-year-old Saleh Ahmed, who's from Lozells Road in Birmingham, Nadir Mohammed, who's 23 years old, of Pershaw Road in Birmingham, and 24-year-old Roman Ahmed of Northley Road in Birmingham were all jailed for 5 years and 6 months for attempted wounding. Now these were the main people that had taken out the lighter and also used the glass bottle. As for the reason why they did this, no motive has been established. However, what's known is the victim was walking down the street when he was approached. Now 2 things are likely to have occurred. Either they singled the victim out for no reason, because when people form a gang, they feel as though they have the presence and the power and authority of 10 or 12 or 15 men. They egg each other on and do things that they wouldn't normally do if they were by themselves. That's why people say there are safety in numbers, and people are not normally bad on their own. Another opinion is that the victim may have been in the wrong area at the wrong time, or he had to be taught a lesson either rightly or wrongly, or this is just gang politics that the gang and the victim did not want to disclose to authorities or the police. Either way, the incident showed that what they did to the victim was very, 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 very personal. Think about it. To call out to the victim when he was walking, grip him against the wall, keep him rooted in place, tell him that he was either going to be fired upon or stir, and then tell him to remove his clothes and then use a lighter, that's not a simple robbery. The Birmingham-based gang's actions had all the hallmarks to say that this was a very personal vendetta. And to be completely honest, they got off lightly, with the highest sentence being 6 years and 6 months. This is exactly why people have to remain safe. Stay safe. Safe.